ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
Our constitutional journey did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
Dr. Francis Collins is the director of the National Institutes of Health.
Let me just say a word, though, about neuroimaging. Certainly the problem of incidental findings, though, is an enormous, obvious overlap with the genetic situation. MRI scans often give things you didn't expect, and often they're things you don't know what to do with. UBOs, they're called unidentified bright objects. Do you want to have one of those in your brain? Well, you might, and what are you going to do with that?
Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that.
Getting again into forensics, lie detection, certainly there are those who believe this will become a more accurate means of assessing when somebody is practicing deception and then other available methods.
And Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make. Judge, that's why this is a critical moment.
Personality prediction or profiling, again, something that might be used in making decisions about who gets access to which particular kinds of jobs or in the military, or also could be used in courts of law. Neuromarketing, a little scary concept there, trying to assess when people are responding effectively to certain kinds of advertising or
Security Subcommittee on Counterterrorism, Law Enforcement, and Intelligence will come to order. The purpose of this hearing is to receive testimony from expert witnesses from the national security realm that will inform our understanding of anomalous health incidents, or more commonly known as Havana syndrome. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Good afternoon and welcome to the Subcommittee on Counterterrorism, Law Enforcement, and Intelligence. We're holding this important hearing to examine anomalous health incidents, otherwise known as AHIs or Havana syndrome, and discuss the potential targeting of U.S. government officials and their families in the homeland and elsewhere. Although this issue has recently gained significant media attention, the issues surrounding anomalous health incidents or Havana syndrome are not new. Dating back to 2014, a number of U.S. diplomatic, military, and intelligence officials and their families have reported major medical symptoms that have affected their auditory and sensory motor skills. These issues became public in late 2016 after a group of Canadian diplomats and U.S. government employees and their families assigned to the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba, began experiencing similar symptoms. After the reported incidents in Havana, government officials and their families began reporting similar symptoms in the People's Republic of China, Vietnam, Germany, Austria, Serbia, Australia, Taiwan, Colombia, as well as here in the United States.
Examine the anomalous health incidents affecting a range of U.S. national security personnel, including intelligence officials, members of our armed forces, and diplomats. Sometimes referred as Havana syndrome, anomalous health incidents were first reported, as the chairman suggested, back in 2014 by U.S. personnel assigned to our embassy in Havana. Many have described the symptoms that were chronic and debilitating. Sadly, these incidents have not been isolated to Havana. U.S. personnel have reported such incidents as Hanoi, Vienna, London, Moscow, as well as here in the United States, in Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Pennsylvania.
Mr. Chairman, ranking members, congressmen, it is an honor to speak with you today and give voice to the unseen, the U.S. government, AHI survivors, and their families. My name is Greg Edgreen. I stood up and led the DIA's task force, which was in charge of taking care of our survivors and determining the cause. For background, I'm not an analyst. I'm a retired Army and intelligence officer. The following are my personal opinions and do not represent the opinions of the government. Given the classification of this topic, many of my comments will have to be made at a future closed-door session. As a country, we have been here before. Most people think this all started in Havana in 2016, the widely reported Havana syndrome. This led to the U.S. withdrawing most of its staff and ending rapprochement between Havana and Washington. But before Havana syndrome, there was the Moscow signal. Soviet intelligence bathed the U.S. Embassy in Moscow with microwave transmissions. The health effects were similar to what we see today. There are many examples of syndromes and ailments from Americans injured in the line of duty that the government did not recognize for many years, which were eventually proven. Agent Orange used in Vietnam, the Gulf War syndrome, burn pits during the forever wars of Iraq and Afghanistan. In all of these examples, America took too long to acknowledge these injuries, and our service members languished without care. Havana syndrome is no different. The gaslighting of AHI survivors continues to this day as history repeats itself. Throughout all this, I learned America's best men and women in national security are being targeted and neutralized in a global campaign. AHIs have been reported in the press in every continent except for Antarctica, with a large percentage of these attacks occurring in the homeland, an American, in this town.
Disturbing. Before I get to my questions, I just want to reiterate that we're going to do everything we can to assure that the victims, those that are suffering, will receive consistent health care for what is ailing you. But, Mr. Edgren, the evidence, no intentional attack, yet what I'm hearing from Mr. Zaid, Mr. Grozov, is that there's a possibility that something is out there attacking us, especially in homeland. Mr. Edgren, based on what Mr. Zaid just said, what are your thoughts?
My personal thoughts
As an intelligence officer.
is that I agree with them. My personal opinions is that this is a global campaign, and it includes attacking us here at home. It is a strategic issue that is going to impact us.
Is this a attack by the Russians, just the Russians, and is it against the U.S. solely or other allies as well?
I have to be careful what I say here. So let me say this.
And if I can, say what you can. And if you gentlemen feel better talking about this in a more secure setting,
I'll start by
we can
saying
work
this.
on that as well.
Congressman, thank you for the question. Give me 20 minutes in a skiff and I'll convince all of you. I know where the bodies are buried. I know the cabinets to look in, the questions to ask, and the people to subpoena. I will say that this is a global campaign and it's focused on attacking our people, the best of our people. It's not the middle-range people that are being attacked. It's those that are succeeding and providing work that winds up on the president's desk every morning. So it's a massive issue. It's something that doesn't come to light, and it's something that, especially with the Department of Defense survivors, the unseen, they're totally left out of this because the Havana Act doesn't cover your active duty members. They're told to go to the VA, but there's no VA diagnostic code, so we're not getting them care. It's not consistent. We have funding available that's allocated that we could provide to take care of all of our people in our government. We're not using it. That's why I'd urge you to contact the Defense Health Program.
Government action recognizing this issue. You compare this to Agent Orange and some of the other ailments our military personnel have suffered, and it takes decades to acknowledge that, yes, this is an issue. It's a medical issue to be taken care of, to be treated on a long-term basis. It's kind of where we started today. I think that I agree with you and with the chairman and Mr. Swalwell, who worked on this issue for a long time, that we do have to take care of the victims the best we can. Now we're shifting to something else, which is essentially a cover-up. What you all are saying is there's a government cover-up of the fact that something is out there afflicting, targeting us. Is this where we're going with this?
Thank you. Great points. I won't get into classification of the problems. I will tell you that the government in the IC assessment is wrong. It's dead wrong. I can't tell you if it's a cover-up, why they're doing this, malfeasance. I won't go there. What I can tell you is that it's my firm belief we already have attribution. Right now is the time for action, retribution. And we need to prioritize taking care of our people, because there's a lot of survivors and their families that have been attacked here in the homeland that are in a long wait line to get to Walter Reed because we're not executing funding that's already been allocated by you gentlemen to take care of these survivors. You fix Walter Reed and the Defense Health Program, everyone benefits.
Mr. Zaid.
So, sir, I've been working in the national security field for 30 years, representing some of our most covert intelligence officers, who I respect a great deal, and the agencies. The word cover-up, I will tell you that there are many legitimate reasons why there could be what the agencies are doing, to explain why they are doing it. What I will tell you is
Would you
that
say,
the public
would you use a
statements...
cover-up as a statement or other words?
So cover-up would depend on intent. There could be good reasons to withhold information. I will say that the public statements that the executive branch is making is inconsistent with the classified record.
I think you should refer that last question to the FBI and classified spaces.
Yeah, obviously the episode with my client, an active FBI agent that was authorized to speak to 60 Minutes, talks about an incident in Key West, and most of that information is either law enforcement sensitive or classified.
Are any of you aware of any reported incidents from individuals who are not members of the United States government, domestically, I should say?
I am not, but I will throw a caveat in there. Generally, I only focused on former and current government employees that were attacked.
Mr. Zaid, are you?
There are many people who believe they are victims of AHIs. All you have to do is look at my Twitter feed whenever I post on the topic. I only represent federal government employees and their families, so I don't focus on the accuracy of those particular claims.
And Mr. Grozev, do you have any insight?
Not on American soil, but in other parts of the world, there have been complaints that appear to be credible from Russian activists or Russian opposition leaders living abroad.
If your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they? They don't leave behind bomb fragments, bullet holes, etc. They could absolutely be used by our adversaries and have very low levels of, very easy to deny that they were even there, that they were used. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.